Hello and welcome back to the third rail. We have a new addition to the collection this week. I just received this lovely Class T18 locomotive from Märklin, and I thought we should have a first look at it together. I'll start with a quick model overview as usual. The model was released in 1987. It appears on page 7 of the catalogue that year. The first version was produced in two different variations, an analog one under model number 3109 and a digital one under number 3609. This version remained in production until 1990. Version 2 of the model was introduced in 1991. The only difference with the first version was the use of closed couplings on the model. The same year, a new version of the T18 based on the same tooling was introduced. The model number was 3305. It had an electronic pre-reversing unit and a different running number, the 8402. In 1992, the 3109 was no longer available for purchase, leaving only the 3609 version 2 and the 3305. The 3609 disappeared from the program in 1993, leaving only the 3305 for a couple of years after that, maybe until 1995. On to a few vital statistics. The model measures 16.9 centimeters buffer to buffer. The chassis and boiler are made of metal. The model is fitted with a digital decoder, which controls a 3-pole motor, which itself drives 3 axles. The axles are fitted with a pair of traction tires. The lighting is directional and can be switched on or off from the central unit. And finally, the model is equipped with closed couplers. Now, as usual, let's have a high-level overview of the prototype for context. The model represents the Class T18 of the KPEV, that's the Königlich Preußische Eisenbahnverwaltung, or Royal Prussian Railways Administration in English. It was introduced to solve operational difficulties with T10 class engines on the Frankfurt to Wiesbaden line and T12 class engines on the newly opened line of the island of Rügen. In both cases, the engines did not allow a fast turnaround at stations and were struggling with the steady increase in passenger traffic. The KPEV produced a new design in 1911 and worked with a company called Vulcan in Stettin, who built the first prototypes in 1912. The resulting product was an engine capable of reaching speeds of up to 90 km per hour in both directions. These capabilities eliminated the need for turntables and associated overheads. The first 10 units were in service by October 1912. The design of the class was improved upon and finalized by 1914. It remained virtually unchanged until production of the class ended in 1927. All in all, 534 units were produced during that time. The class was mainly used for commuter services from the 1930s until the final unit was withdrawn in 1975. Our prototype was the first unit delivered to KPEV in 1912. After extensive testing in the southwest of Berlin, it was allocated to the Stettin railway direction. In 1924, it was transferred to the Deutsche Reichsbahngesellschaft. In 1926, it was recategorized as Class 78 and received a new running number, 78001. During the 1930s, the locomotive was moved to the southwest of Germany, and it remained there until the end of the Second World War. In 1949, the locomotive was transferred to the Deutsche Bundesbahn, where it remained in service in the Hamburg area until 1965. It was withdrawn and dismantled in 1966. Let's have a look at my 3609 now. So here it is in its box, that's the right one. It's the typical Märklin packaging for early digital locomotives with the little red digital decoder diagram within the drawing of the locomotive or the model. The box is okay-ish, there's plenty of storage marks, but that doesn't bother me too much as long as the box does its job. So we're going to have a look inside now. Oops, it's the wrong way. Let me turn it round. That's the wrong way too. There we go, we're finally there. So the locomotive doesn't seem to be in too much of a bad shape. Well, you can't say the same about the blister pack. Looks like it's seen better days. It's a bit yellowed. It's going to be quite brittle. We've got paperwork by the looks of it. Yes, it's all there. Instructions, warranty, parts diagram. Excellent. And a little note from the seller. Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Seller. Yes, the blister pack is yellowed and brittle, and it's broken as well. That's a bit of a disease with this type of packaging from the late 80s, early 90s. Oh well, I'll just have to be a bit careful with it. Alright, let's take the model out of this mess and we'll have a closer look. I'll put it on the presentation rail. Well, it doesn't look too bad. I don't know how good Märklin got the livery, but I really like it with this dark green and dark red pinstriping on top of it and the gold lettering. Very nice. Now the T18s have a few weak points as far as details are concerned, and it's always good to check before buying one that everything is there. Towards the front of the locomotive there are 4 handlebars and thin plastic arches above the lanterns. All these have a tendency to break off, so it's always good to check that everything's there before buying one. The other area of concern or that needs particular attention are the ladders around the locomotive. They all usually are missing some paint because that's where people touch them when handling them or railing them. The paint rubs off over time and you're left with a nice view of the primer. But that doesn't seem to be the case on this model. Very good. There's only one little issue, which is that one of the step ladders under the cab is bent inwards, but I might be able to straighten it back to its original shape. I'll see how courageous I feel. The other thing are the little arches above the lanterns, but they are usually quite easy to straighten back up, so I'm not worried about those. Well, not bad at all. Right, we're going to move to the layout now and try this little thing out. So the railing of the T18s is always a bit complicated. The bogies at the front and back of the locomotive always fight me for some reason. There we go, looks like we're ready. I'm going to give the thing a bit of power. It's hesitating. And I've already derailed. I obviously didn't manage to get one of the bogie properly on the track. Let's fix that. Try to. Okay, it's working. What a racket! The lights are not working because of the way the decoder of the time operated. It didn't allow for the lights to be on during analog operation. Right, I need to put some oil in this in order to try and reduce the noise level. Let's see if it's better now. Well, not really. I can't really hear a difference. It's still as noisy as before. Okay, it looks like it needs a bit more lubrication. So I had to go inside the engine, and after 10-15 minutes I got to a point where the noise levels were reduced to a bearable level. Okay, let's put the engine back together. It was a good opportunity to check that the locomotive was still in its original configuration, and it is, with its decoder with dip switches to set addresses up. Right, I'm going to put everything back together. The screw for the body of the locomotive is located under the front dome. The front dome simply comes up when you pull it up. There's no need to go at it with a screwdriver. You'd achieve only one thing, is to damage the plastic dome. And to put it back on, it's the opposite operation. It's just a matter of pushing it down and it will clip into place, like so. So let's give the engine a try now with this new level of lubrication. It should run much better. Indeed it is. Well, time for a run-in. So I let the engine run for about 10 minutes, after which it sounded much better, as you can hear now. And the locomotive is managing the turnouts and curves without any problem. Excellent. As far as matching rolling stock is concerned, unfortunately there wasn't much in the Märklin program at the time. What was there was not necessarily prototypical, so the only thing we can aim for here is an approximation and just try and achieve a Prussian look. A first option would have been to use the legendary 4004 and 4005 Prussian-style compartment coaches, which were very crude, but had been in production up until 1985, I think, so might still have been available to buy new from the trade at the time. Another option would have been to use a series of coaches that was released the same year as the model. They represent twin compartment cars that were used on the Berlin railway network for suburban traffic. The T18 was never used in that area for this type of traffic, though. So this would have been a nice approximation. Actually, the coaches are very nice looking, but prototypically probably completely wrong. The model numbers were 4207, 4208 and 4209. And I've had a few of those in the collection for the last 4 or 5 years, I think, and I've never used them. So I had to take them out, and you can see them now behind this 3609. Aren't they beautiful? Let's see how they behave on the main line. So far so good. I must say that it's going well because I removed the turnout lanterns for a previous running session. These coaches would get stuck on turnouts with the big lanterns, like the ones I have. That's due to the fact that these coaches have running boards fitted on their side, and the running boards protrude a bit too much over the side of the track. Time for the acid test, the ramp. Effortless. What a non-event. Excellent. Right, I hope you enjoyed watching this model as much as I did when I put it on the track. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, it's very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank all the subscribers to the channel. It's amazing that people find the content interesting enough to subscribe and activate their notification bell to be notified of new content when it becomes available. I also enjoy the likes I get from time to time. Thank you very much again for this. Bye for now.